Hello, Shrenik. Welcome to this podcast come interview. And it is going to be so much fun having you speak on today's topic, which is should you do MBA? But before that, I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience, like what is your company about and what you have studied.
Hi Ayush, I'm very excited to talk to you and thank you for inviting me here. Feels very special and honored. I'm Shrenik Bhandari. I'm a chartered accountant and we have a chain of retail stores by the brand name MOOLCHAND in Pune and outside Pune. So, company chartered accountancy, I joined the family business and the only reason was to expand it. So, because I always believed that I've got the base ready and all I need to do is to make that base utilize and to expand it to a different horizon and a different level. And that's what we are doing. So when I joined, we were at around 40 employees. Today we have around 3,500 employees. And with a turnover of 7 crore, we joined. And today we are more than 700 crore turnover. So it's all God's grace that we have been able to achieve all this success.
That is just great. From 7 crore to 700 crore, that journey is what you have told is so pleasing to hear. And now I will be proceeding with the topic of the meeting, which is should you do an MBA? So, like you run a 700 crore company. So, do you think one should do an MBA at all? Or if yes, why do you think so?
Yeah, my father wanted me to do an MBA. Even after clearing my chartered accountants, my father wanted me to do an MBA. But you know the studies of CAs is so taxing that after clearing CA, you don't have the mindset of studying again. So I decided to join the business and not do MBA. But somehow today I feel that the words he spoke to me at that time were golden words and were of experience. And I really believe that I should have done MBA at that time because right now again to go and do MBA is little difficult. But that time I had the opportunity and the time, so should have done MBA. I use the reason which I believe that MBA should be done is because in today's world you cannot afford to make all the mistakes by yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you have to learn from others' mistake, and that is what MBA will teach you. That if you do not at least understand what to do, you'll definitely understand what not to do. Because MBA will definitely teach you from others' failures, the cases that they give you, the scenarios that they present you will definitely help you to understand what are the mistakes that these companies did and you should avoid while growing in your companies. So once you understand these mistakes, you will definitely benefit a lot. And trust me, in today's world, you cannot afford to make all the mistakes by yourself. You definitely have to learn from others' mistakes. So MBA will definitely help you to learn from those mistakes because there is a simple saying in management which says, "You did not reinvent the wheel. Somebody has already invented the wheel. So why do you have to put all the energy again to reinvent the wheel? There's no need. So just learn from those experiences, and you will accelerate your growth much farther."
That is a very unique perspective that you have put into answering the question. And there are many MBAs that must be under you. So,
Hmm.
and also some CAs, and so you have both like CA also and MBA also, people working for you. So, what key differences do you find in them when it comes to business or finance?
I wish to be an entrepreneur and to be a successful entrepreneur, I believe there are three important things in actually which cannot be taught. These should be things inner from you, but MBA might help them to teach you. The three important things is to be a successful entrepreneur. I believe is first you should be good with numbers. If you're not good with your numbers now, you won't succeed. You will just keep on growing, but at the end you will find that there is no profit in the books. So top line is very ego fulfilling. You know, I've achieved 700 crore, I've achieved 1000 crore. It is very ego fulfilling. But at the end, is the company making profit? Is your bottom line strong? And only if you have proper knowledge with numbers, if you can romance with your numbers,
Hmm.
then only you can be successful. Because at the end you should know how to read the balance sheet and which will in turn tell you whether the company is making profit or not, and which is the bottom line. So first, you should be good with numbers. Second, you should be a willing communicator. If you're not a willing communicator, I think you won't stand a chance to succeed because at the end that is the difference between Dhoni and others. Na? So Dhoni is a willing communicator as compared to others. So perhaps Sachin Tendulkar might not be a willing communicator, so he was not able to lead all the team, and he had to resign from his captaincy and again go to batting. But a willing communicator will always succeed as compared to a non-willing communicator. That is the second point. And the third point, an entrepreneur should know how to sell.
Hmm.
That is the crux, no? Even if you have got the best product, designed the best product manufactured at the most economic rate, if you don't know how to sell, there is no chance that you can succeed. So to be good with your numbers, to be a willing communicator, and to know how to sell. These are three important things for an entrepreneur. And that is exactly the difference that I see between MBAs and non-MBAs. When you are an MBA, I think you have to do a lot of PowerPoint presentations where you develop the communication skills. And you also have to go to do the 2 years course where you develop the number skills. And of course, when you go with the numbers and with the communication, you automatically develop the skills of selling because you are in that, there is a concept called Sangam Saranam Gachhami. Because when you are in that environment, you also understand the keys that how to sell. So these 3 points are definitely taught in MBA, which I think will help the entrepreneurs in the long-term career.
Can you explain that phrase that you just said?
See, this is what Gautam Buddha said, that it is Budhham Sharanam Gachhami, Dhammam Sharanam Gachhami, and Sangam Sharanam Gachhami. So these are three concepts which Gautam Buddha said is Buddham is you learn from the teacher itself, Dhammam is you learn from the scriptures, and Sangam is you learn from your environment.
Oh,
So when you go, you see the top college in Pune or in Maharashtra or in India, the teaching is more or less the same. There is not much difference. But why do students want to go to the top college? It is because of the student community which goes to that college. Because the crowd that comes to the top college will be the top 1% crowd. And the experiences that you get when you sit with all of them is a way level ahead. That is Sangam Saranam Gachhami. So when you have that experience, when you have that group of people along with you in your forum, you definitely learn a lot. And in MBA, I think when all the business minds come together, then definitely you learn a lot. So that is Sangam Saranam Gachhami.
so numbers don't lie, as you speak. And obviously, practical knowledge is more important. And I've seen people talk about MBA as more of a practical perspective, like how should you do business and sell it, as you say. But most of the times, uh, while doing a job, an MBA gives you that salary increment, and that is the reason most of the students are pursuing MBA. So, is that a faithful reason, or that is just a fake, all that perspective that is going on?
So, a survey shows that 90% of students who have passed out from Harvard do jobs and they don't go into business. That is the complete irony. Actually, MBA should teach you how to do business, but the practical reality is 90% of students who clear from Harvard usually go for jobs and not for business. Because I think business is all about owner's intuition, it's all about owner's intuition, and there should be a fire running inside from you that you have to do something, that you have to achieve something, that you have to create of something of your own. But at the same time, I'm not completely denying that job you should not do jobs, or somewhere I believe that 9 to 5 job has been criticized a lot. I personally believe that you can achieve a lot in your career even if you do a 9 to 5 job. If you have examples of Sundar Pichai, Tim Cook, I mean, they did not think of doing something on their own. They were in those companies and they are at the leading positions right now. Steve Jobs' legacy has been taken ahead by Tim Cook, and everyone knows about now Apple is one of the biggest companies of the country. So it's all about your inner calling. You can still succeed a lot if you are into job, but then you will have to think big of reaching the top management level in next 5 years, 10 years, or whatever you believe. But if you feel that you have to create on something of your own, you want something challenging, then you can also go for business. So it all depends upon inner calling. Nothing to be criticized, nothing to be praised. I mean, do whatever is your inner calling.
So it is about our inner will and what we truly want to do, and that is what is more important than just doing some random thing because someone is preaching that you should do business. That is a very very new thing that I've got into, because most of the times all that YouTube gurus and all the finance personalities say that you should do business and keep doing entrepreneurship, but it is more important to be a part of something that is going to be big. So if you are contributing towards it, it will create more impact than just running a random business.
Absolutely, absolutely, Ayush. I mean, there is no point in doing a small business. Instead, if you're in a big company and at a bigger post, that will create more impact because the number of people working under you, if there are 1,000 people working under you in a big company, that will create more impact rather than 100 people working under you in your own business. So, if the long-term vision is about creating impact, then the number of people under working with you is definitely matter. And I just missed by saying people working under you in management. I think the first leadership lesson that I learned is people do not work under you, people work with you.
With
So that is still the culture in our organization. People don't work under me, people work with me. So that is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned from our business.
that is the true leadership qualities, and you have put it very gently and very beautifully right into the phrase that people are with you and not under you. That it is mostly that is what takes a normal company and makes it a 700 crore business. So that is what I'm seeing in your eyes right now, the quality.
Many people ask me that what do big companies do? Like what do companies like you do? I usually tell them that after achieving that success or after achieving that bigness, you do not look what are they doing right now, but you should observe when they were small what they were doing.
Hmm.
If today IBM is at that level, you should have thought that when IBM was small, what were they doing? Because and that is the reason they have grown big.
Hmm.
Because when you grow big, the things the way you work are different. So right now, if you keep on copying what the big people do, then that won't work for you. But when IBM was small or when Apple was small, what is the principles that they followed that made them successful? Like like I still remember reading an Narayana Murthy book, and when Infosys was very small, uh, people did not like to work with Infosys. People wanted to work with IBM. People wanted to work with Microsoft. And then Naran Murthy was not able to get all the talent that he wanted. So he just told all his employees that what is the things that people want, that people get in IBM or get in Apple that we are not having. He just made a survey, made a list of all these things, and made sure that the employees got all those things. So that's what made the Infosys difference. And he made sure that the employees felt the same level of comfort and same level of pride working with Infosys right now that they felt in IBM or in Apple.
So that understanding that the true cause should be identified while running a small business to a bigger business, is that value inculcated in you while you do MBA? What do you
I have
think?
not done an MBA. I have not done an MBA, but I surely believe because I like to read a lot of books, a lot of MBA books. And one of the biggest values I learned from an MBA book was, they just gave example. There were two schools, and the first school in the 10th board results had a couple of merit rankers, 3 or 5 merit rankers. And the second school, their last year average percentage was 80%, and this year's average percentage was around 85%. So then they asked the question, which school would you prefer? And I thought that let us prefer the school, the merit ranker school because they produce merit rankers. But the result was, in the long term, when the average performance of the student good goes up,
Hmm.
that is when the school performs better in the long term. Not where only a couple of merit rankers are taking the all the things.
It's
So
not a
that was a
race.
big lesson. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a race. It's
Ah,
how you
yeah.
are
So
together.
yeah, that is one point that I inculcate in my business, that instead of just focusing on a couple of high performing employees, let us make the average employee performance of the entire organization little up.
Hmm.
And in turn, it is definitely helping the entire organization. When the entire organization grows from 80 to 85%,
Hmm.
the efficiency, the compound efficiency is a lot more higher as compared to when you only focus on a couple of employees. So these things you definitely learn from MBAs and which you can implement in your organizations.
That is a very, well, it is all about knowing such small things that makes a company big. And speaking of books, so what books have you read and what are your all-time favorites?
I really believe, I mean, books are of course necessary. Books are very much important, but I believe that you can learn a lot from people around you. Just if we try to improve observation skills,
Hmm.
then I think we can learn a lot from people around us. And just to go on your floor and see what is the interaction between the customer and the sales guy, it will teach you so many things. Just the customer feedback will teach you so many things. Like I remember watching an interview of Jeff Bezos,
Hmm.
and where the interviewer was asking him that the market scenario, the business scenario is changing so much and so fast. What is the thing that you want to achieve in the next 3 years? And what Jeff Bezos replied was phenomenal. That just blew my mind. Jeff Bezos said that I don't want to focus on things which will change every 3 years, because I will have to put in a lot of time, energy, money, and it will get changed in 3 years. Rather, I want to focus on things which are not going to change in the next 10 years. And he said that there are three things which will never change in retail. The first thing is the large variety of products that you offer. The second thing is reasonability, affordability. And the third most important thing is customer experience.
Hmm.
So, customer experience is one thing which will never change in the next 10 years. So, his entire efforts is to improve the customer experience. And that is what Amazon is doing right now. I mean, there is no fear while ordering anything on Amazon.
Hmm.
You can order
Yes.
anything and you can cancel it at any time. Even if you have ordered it, there is a cancellation policy. You can cancel anytime without any questions asked.
Hmm.
And you know, Jeff Bezos said that his company is a customer-centric company. So everything will be around customer experience. So one of the books that I read of Jeff Bezos was very inspiring for me. And there are books, the recent books that I'm reading is of mindful marketing, where there are small tips regarding marketing hacks, and I find it very beneficial. So books
One
plus
more
observing
important
people.
thing that you just said now, that you are reading a book, which means that you are upgrading yourself. And that in business, when you are doing business, it is important to keep upgrading yourself. The
If
values
you do not
which are
upgrade yourself,
like 10 years ago, what you have done in MBA, it is not going to help you after 10 years. So, what do you say on that?
of course, Ayush, if you do not upgrade yourself, you will become a bottleneck to your own organization.
Hmm.
Can you observe my hand?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
You know, your company was here
Hmm.
and you took it here.
Hmm.
This is because of you. And your company is not here. The reason is also you, because you have not upgraded. You have upgraded yourself, you have came here, but you are not reaching at that level because you have not upgraded yourself and you have become a bottleneck to your own organization. So, the biggest weakness in an entrepreneur will be lack of vision. Even if you do not have a particular skill, even if you do not have a particular expertise, you can recruit it, you can have a team
Hmm.
for it, which will do for it. But if there is a lack of vision, then I think then that cannot be taught. You will have to develop within yourself. And vision improves when you read a lot of things, when you keep on upgrading, when you keep on meeting people who are better than you. Because I always believe that there should be better people than you in your team. It is only then you will learn a lot from them,
Hmm.
and only with your surroundings, with your books, and with keeping in terms with technology, you will keep upgrading yourself, and which will definitely help you for a business to go ahead.
Now, speaking of that, you are doing a big business. What do you think? do you want in your employee when you are hiring that he should know about before you hire them? I mean,
You know, there's a very simple cultural policy in our organization that at least 60% of people should come to your office for a vision. Usually, what happens, people come for financial reasons.
hmm,
So, trust me, if you have got an employee for an X amount of salary package today,
hmm,
tomorrow there will be another competition who will have that employee who will give X plus one. So
hmm,
that employee will immediately shift his loyalties.
hmm,
But that is not the case when an employee works for a vision. You know, when an employee truly believes that this is what the company is working for towards, like our vision is to there are two visions that we have is to provide affordable fashion to the common people of India, and to second to generate employment opportunities, especially to the uneducated women of India.
hmm,
You know, so these two vision of ours are very clear to provide employment opportunities to the women and to provide affordable fashion to the common people of the country. And when an employee understands this vision, the competition cannot buy him easily. You know, he cannot buy him easily with money because you have put in so much of vision inculcation in him. There's a term called vision orientation. So all our meetings will start with vision orientation. That this is the vision we are working for. So it is not that one time you will say the induction and then that is over. Before starting of every meeting, you will have to make them understand that this is the vision that we are working for. And once you inculcate that vision orientation in all of them, then I think the employees also understand that they value your company a lot more, their loyalty increases a lot more, and then they become your biggest pillars. And it's very difficult to, for the competition to just turn them into their side. Because there are only two things that will differentiate you from your competition. I always tell my employees that your competition can copy your offers, they can copy your name, they can copy your strategies. There are only two things that your competition cannot copy from you. The first is culture. The competition cannot copy your culture, and you have to build that culture every day in, day out. Narayan Murthy left the chairman seat, and the sales of Infosys started falling, and again Narayan Murthy had to come on the seat of Infosys. And then Narayan Murthy said that I think that the culture of the organization is still not developed to that level that I can lead the chair. So that is the importance of culture, and the company and the competition cannot copy the culture of your organization. Let him copy everything else; he cannot copy the culture of your organization. And the second important thing I think the competition cannot copy is the speed of execution. Ideas are sold like hotcakes. Ideas only 10%, 90% execution. I think if you see, there are people with brilliant ideas, but who have still not succeeded. So it's all about speed of execution at grassroots level, whether things are happening or not. That is all the important thing. So culture and execution, if you keep focus on that, I think your employees will be with you, and it will be very hard for the competition to take them away.
adding to the first point, the same case has happened with Physics Wala. So that is why the reason they have converted their name to PW. It is not because of Physics Wala, but Physics Wala represents Alak Pandey. So because they wanted to go into a lot of other education like UPSC, CA, they had to create or unite into under one name, that is PW.
Okay,
Exactly what
got
you
it,
say.
got it. Hmm. This is not the language I should use, but then just in the context, there is a simple saying, you know, if you don't love your wife, your neighbor will. So if you don't love your employees, the competition will.
Yes,
And if you
definitely.
don't love your customers, the market will. So it's all about how compassionate are you towards your employees, how customer service oriented are you towards your customers. That will make all the important difference in organization.
That was a very good quote, put right into the spot. Because speaking of Mulchand, your company, it has grown a lot because our family buys our clothing from Mulchand from like 3 4 years now. And the two qualities that we have known, and these are that their cost is low and their quality is far better than others for that cost. So that creates a trust, and because Mulchand displays that the your clothes are being coming from the uh, production house, from direct mill to house, mill to your customers, and because of that we have much more faith in your company. So how do you manage actually all these things, and branding, benchmark quality, as well as keeping low price?
Are you sure asking our secret? No restaurant owner will show them their kitchen. The secret is in the spices. Uh, keeping jokes aside, Ayush, there is one important thing which people still have to learn, or if they have to still learn it, they have to implement it. That in retail, the profit is not booked during sales. There's a very big misconception that you will have profit only on sales. Very honestly, in retail, you book your profit when you purchase. You know, so the sourcing, the rates at which we are sourcing is way cheaper than what the market does, because we have understood that hack, that you cannot make profits by selling, because selling you will have a bench, there is a limit, you cannot over exceed the market prices, because this is not a luxury product, this is a everyday product, and you cannot command illogical margins in it, so you will not make profits if in sales. What we have realized, that profits will be booked when you purchase very strong. And I still remember Apple had an argument with one of its OEMs for 0.000125%. They had a discussion for that bargain, because when the volume is such high, even 0.000125% matters a lot. So then I picked up the thing that it is actually when you purchase that you will book your profit, and not when you sell. So we have been fortunate that we have been able to source things at a very economic price as compared to the market, and that is one of the reasons we are able to provide the same amount of clothes. What other people purchase is actually our sales price. So that becomes the major telling factor, because we have realized this skill and we have developed it to source things very economically.
So when you say the purchase, do you mean that at production?
Yeah, even at the raw material level,
Ah,
even at the raw material level, because what happens is make we just make a cost chart. We make a cost sheet, and this is the raw material cost.
hmm,
This is all the cost, and even we define the profits.
hmm,
Whoever the production house is, whatever it is, we define the profit that you will have to add, because not everything is produced in our own mills. Something we have to outsource also, because the in retail you have to be very alert. The fashion keeps on changing, and you cannot continuously change the production cycles because it hampers the production. So for all the fast forward trends that are happening, we also define the profits that you will have to work for this profit. But the benefit for them is that they get work for the continuous 12 months. What happens, most of the factories because work for 8 months or 9 months, or depending on the season, and rest 3 months they do not get enough work, and we take out that deficiency of them. We give them work for the entire year. For all the 12 months they get work, and they get the desired profits. So it's a win-win situation, and company will succeed only if there's a win-win situation. If you try to have a win-lose situation, you won't succeed for long. So they get work around the clock, 24 hours a day, 12 months a year, and they get a desired profits. We get cool goods at cheaper rates. So it's a win-win situation that we have created for the entire ecosystem, which helps us to source products at very economical rates.
yes. So that's your secret. Now that I have known, I'll apply it.
Definitely. Yeah, at the end, implementation is all the important. Idea is 10%, 90% is execution.
Yes, definitely. And that is also the hardest part, implementing things, because everybody knows, and it is written in books that selling, when you are selling, the main profit is, means what you said, that selling does not create profit, but production. And before selling, whatever comes from that, there should be the profit. And that is also a very unique thing that I can agree, or I can bet that it is not anywhere on the YouTube or Instagram or any podcast till now. So that is going to be an exclusive one.
Sure, sure, sure.
So thank you. That would be so nice that you have gave your time to my small setup and talked a very interesting. We had a very interesting conversation right here, and this is going to be remembered forever.
Thank you, Ayush. It was lovely talking to you. There's a small feedback. You said a small setup, and I never, when we were 40 employees, I never told that we were a small organization. The vocabulary that I used, that we are a growing organization, or we are a disciplined organization, or we are a fast moving organization. This is the vocabulary that I used, and I never told that we are a small organization. So I would love even if you tell that we are a growing podcast
Growing setup.
thing.
We are
Yeah, we
growing
are a growing
setup.
setup. Yeah,
Mindset is everything.
because, yeah. So mindset is everything, and mindset depends on the vocabulary that you use. So once you change your vocabulary, the thoughts change, and once you change the thoughts, the mind changes. So wishing you a very growing podcast and wishing you most and more.
Thank you so much for the lovely feedback that you have given right now.